You have been living someone else's version of you, and deep down you already know it. In this video, you will discover the exact process to build a strong and coherent identity from the ground up, one that holds under pressure, makes decisions easier, and finally makes you feel like yourself. And by the end, you will understand why most people never achieve this, and the one thing that changes everything. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to what others expect of them, to what their family told them they should be, to the version of themselves they invented at 17, just to survive a social environment that never really fit. You wake up one day and you realize you have been performing instead of living. That performance has a cost, and you have been paying it every single day without noticing. The deepest emotional wound underneath the search for identity is not confusion. It is the constant, exhausting feeling of not belonging to yourself, of being a stranger inside your own life. And that feeling, if you have ever experienced it, is one of the most disoriented sensations a human being can carry. Here's what most people do not understand. Identity is not something you discover. It is something you construct deliberately with specific materials and a specific method. The people who seem to have a strong sense of self didn't stumble upon it. They built it, often through pain, through repeated choices that align with something deeper than comfort. What are those materials and how exactly do you build with them? The first thing you need to accept is that fragmented identity is almost always the result of living reactively. You become what situations demand of you. You become agreeable in one room and assertive in another. You become ambitious around certain people and invisible around others. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop knowing which version is actually you. The problem is not that you have multiple sides, every human does. The problem is that none of those sides are consciously yours. Strong identity begins in the moment you stop asking, what do others need me to be? And start asking, what do I actually believe, want, and refuse to compromise on? Those three things, your beliefs, your desires, and your non-negotiables, are the skeleton of a coherent self. Without them, you are not a person, you're a collection of adaptations. But there is a trap here, one that almost everyone falls into. And if you are not aware of it, it will sabotage everything you try to build. Most people, when they try to find themselves, go looking in the past. They analyze childhood, they search through old memories, they try to understand where they went wrong. And while some of that work has value, living inside your history is not the same as building your future identity. The past explains you. It doesn't define you. There is a radical difference between those two things, and crossing that line is where identity construction actually begins. You build identity forward, not backward. You choose values consciously, and then you test them against your daily behavior. You notice where your actions contradict your stated beliefs. You close that gap, not perfectly, not overnight, but persistently with honesty. That process of alignment repeated over time is what creates coherence. And coherence is what other people experience as a strong sense of self. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Coherent identity doesn't make you rigid. It makes you more flexible. Because when you know who you are, you do not need every situation to confirm you. You can be challenged, criticized, even disliked, and still walk away intact. The psychological security is not arrogance. It is the natural result of having done the internal work. The emotion at the center of all of this is grief, not fear, not anger, grief. Because building a true identity requires letting go of the false ones you have been carrying. It requires mourning the version of you that was built to please, the version that shrank to fit, the version that performed strength while feeling completely hollow inside. That grief is real, and it is necessary. Think about the last time you made a decision that felt completely yours, not influenced by guilt, or approval seeking, or fear of losing someone's acceptance. How often does that actually happen? How many of your choices in a single day are genuinely, autonomously yours? That number, whatever it is, tells you exactly where you are in this process. People with strong identities are not fearless. They are not immune to doubt. But they have one thing that most people have never been tough to develop. They know what they are not willing to become. Their no is as powerful as their yes. That clarity of refusal is the spine of identity. Without it, you will bend in every wind, and you will mistake that bending for being open-minded. Now, the question you have been waiting for since the beginning of this video: why do most people never build a strong and coherent identity even when they desperately want one? The answer is not lack of effort, it is not lack of intelligence, it is that they are trying to build identity while still needing external validation to feel safe. Those two things are incompatible. You cannot construct yourself from the inside while depending on the outside to confirm your worth. The moment you understand that, the work becomes clear. And here is where you start. Write down 3 beliefs you hold that most people in your life would disagree with. Not to be contrarian, but to find where your thinking is actually yours. Then write 3 things you would never do, no matter the social cost. Then write what you are building your life toward, not what you think you should want, but what actually moves you. Those 9 sentences are the beginning of your architecture. A strong identity is not loudness. It is not certainty. It is the quiet, unshakable alignment between who you say you are and how you actually live. That alignment is achievable. It requires honesty, repetition, and the courage to disappoint people who needed you to stay small. The loop open at the beginning of this video closes here. The one thing that changes everything is not a technique or a framework. It is the decision to stop outsourcing your identity to everyone but yourself.